So Qualcomm's newest Snapdragon 890 series, or it's now called Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, is here and it brings a whole lot of improvements. Thanks to the 4nm architecture that their new CPUs are using, it's around 20% more efficient than the previous Snapdragon 888 series. I mean, that's all well and good. It brings improvements to the camera and the 4K HDR recording. Even gaming has improved a lot. But one feature that caught my eye, which is kind of questionable in terms of security, is the always-on camera feature. You see, Qualcomm made an announcement that their new Snapdragon chips will be using the camera to always look at your face to analyze when you are looking at the phone to unlock it automatically. It is useful when your hands are dirty or you can't use your phone with your hands and you have kept it somewhere. So just by using a glance, you can automatically unlock the phone. It's kind of like an extension of Samsung Smart Stay. Do you remember Samsung had a feature back in the Galaxy S3, I believe, back in 2013, when the camera would continuously look for your face and if you look away, the screen would dim down. I had that on my Galaxy S5 as well, but I never used it because it wasn't that useful and it used to consume extra battery life because the camera was always on. I didn't realize it that much back then, but if the chip had some kind of vulnerability or if someone gained access to the device via a network that I was using, they could easily monitor the camera's feed, right? I mean, if you remember, Qualcomm had a vulnerability in one of their chips back in, I think it was Snapdragon 808 if you remember. Thankfully it was part of a social ethical hack, so it was just a vulnerability test that revealed this information, so Qualcomm was able to fix it. But imagine if it was done by some not so ethical hackers. I think it's about time we brought back those rising cameras, the pop-up camera which would come up when the camera is being used. Now I guess you could argue that it's kind of similar to the always-on microphone feature. The microphones are always listening to the hot words that we would say to bring up the assistants. But it's not as sensitive as a camera watching you all the time, right? It's literally like having a CCTV camera in your room. Now you can argue that it can be done with any phone, like every single smartphone nowadays has a front-facing camera, so there is a potential chance of some app making use of it, but there are good security measures built in, like you would get a notification when some app is using your front camera, and you can even block the access to the camera itself in most apps. You can do that on Android. But with something like this, which is a feature, you probably won't even realize if it's being misused. I mean, of course, we have to see what that actually looks like in Android phones of 2022, but I'm not really a fan of this feature. It is convenient, but it's that lazy convenience that comes at a huge cost of privacy. So yeah, I'm not really gonna welcome it until I see it and until I know it's secure. But other than that, I think the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, which is a really weird name for the 890 series, is a good platform. I mean, I'm not sure why it's called the Gen 1. Like, hasn't the Snapdragon 800 series been around for like 7 years now, since 2013? Whatever. I mean, companies have never been good at naming their products, but at least the product itself is pretty nice. But I wanted to highlight this always-on camera feature just so we know what's gonna happen in Android phones of 2022. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments and join our Discord for more discussions like this.